evening, everyone. I'm Frank Novak, and this is Point of Reference. Tonight, we give you a brief introduction to each candidate running for office in the city of Haverhill, incumbent as well as newcomer, in an effort for you to get to know them a little better and help you decide who to vote for on Election Day, November 7th. We're very proud that almost 100% of the candidates took us up on our invitation to help you become a more informed voter. We are talking with attorney Tom Sullivan, who's just completing his third term as a Haverhill City Councilor and running for re-election. Welcome to the program, Tom.
Thank you, Frank, and thank you for having me.
Are there any compelling things that you see on the horizon that the voters should know about that's any bit of a difference from what you've already faced or other councilors have faced during the course of the past year or the past term that people should be aware of? And what is your take on those things?
Well, Frank, we're a big city and there are always issues that will challenge us, and there are a few issues that challenge us now and will continue to challenge us into the immediate future. One, of course, are the needs of public safety and how to better protect the citizens of the city. We have our issues, like every other city, with crime and gangs, and now the scourge of the opioid addiction crisis. And we definitely will need to focus more, and we have been focusing more on those issues, and the police and the fire department, the EMTs, the social service networks, they're all trying to do the best they can with the resources they have when it comes to the opioid crisis. In addition to that, our public schools, we still have needs in the public schools. They're not going away. They're only going to continue to grow. We need to do something about the Tilton School. We need to do something about the Constantino School, that is renovate, expand, or replace. These are projects that are going to come to the forefront, and they're already coming to the forefront. We also have tremendous needs to raise $50 million for what they call CSO improvements, combined sewer overflow improvements. It is going to cost us $50 million to comply with the federal government order that we clean up the river and we clean up the sewers that drain into the river. And quite frankly, what I don't like is it's an unfunded mandate by the federal government to come up with that money to be able to pay for that improvement, and they're not helping us. Those are just a few of the things that we face in the future.
Is there a danger that when you're talking about that type of unfunded mandate, which is federal, which can be pressing very hard on what the budget expenditures happen to be normally in the city of Haverhill, that being the case, could that realign priorities where other monies are spent?
Perhaps it could, which is why every year when we do a budget, it's a fluid document, and the needs some needs become more urgent than others. Some needs we don't anticipate, and all of a sudden we're faced with. It's tough. It's tough. In the local government, at the local government level, that's where people want and expect results. Everyone wants to live in a good city, a clean city, a safe city. They want the best schools for their children, and they deserve the best schools for their children, and we try to provide that for the children in Haverhill. And the parks, the recreational facilities, we're blessed with 35 square miles of acreage and land and all these parks, all these recreational facilities, and we're doing our best to make them pristine and to make them an attraction and a destination point. So yeah, it's not going to be easy. We have no idea what's coming down at the federal level or what's going to be taken away from us yet, but we are told that we can expect less money from the federal government. The state government, the budget is $1 billion off, $800 million to $1 billion off projected revenues. So, and the next fiscal year is not looking that much brighter. So there will be challenges there as to how much money we're going to continue to get in the form of state aid from our state government. The loss of Brian, the loss of Representative Dempsey, we don't know yet what impact that's going to have on us, and are we going to lose certain funding that Brian was able to secure as the chairman of House Ways and Means. So there's a lot coming down the pike, and that's why I think it's more important than ever that people consider me as a candidate, as the councilor in the next sitting, in the next session. I have the experience, I have the knowledge, I have the vision and the foresight. I get how government works. It's not always pretty. Sometimes people probably don't want to know every nuance of how things happen, but it is what it is, and I try to do my best to make the best decisions for all the citizens.
Predictability is a tough call based upon the scenario that you go ahead and present. A common denominator, it seems that a common thread that goes through, is pervasive through all councilors running as incumbents or not, is that they complain that they happen to get the budget to act upon too late from the mayor. How do you go ahead and try to rectify that or get that earlier so that you'll have greater input in what you can or cannot do?
You know, I understand that, and I feel that every year because I am one of the counselors that receives the budget later than I would like to see it. Having said that, I myself have been pretty successful in implementing or getting the mayor to add small things that I care about into the budget, and I've worked with my fellow counselors to get him to add larger things to the budget. And he has been a little more flexible as revenues did increase over the past few fiscal years, and he had a little more money to actually move around and to have available. I think he has been more responsive to the councilor's needs or the councilor's requests or priorities than he had been in prior years. I applaud myself and my fellow councilors for challenging him at times and for making him understand that although we have a strong mayor form of government and he is the CEO of the city, that you have 9 other people who have good ideas and solid ideas that are worth hearing out and sometimes are worth implementing. And I know in my own case, in my own situation, he has been somewhat responsive to me and as best he can, one of 9. So overall, am I happy that we don't get the budget sooner? No, I'm not. Do I understand what it takes to get the budget to the point where we can see it? Yes, I do. But it can be done better and it can be done sooner, and you know that's our goal as a council. We have been pushing for that, and I think we have seen some improvements, but there's room for more.
Okay, in last question, with less than 2 minutes left, in many cases, people judge a community by its schools. Okay, now this could be a school committee question, can be a city council question because we're dealing here with expenditures versus the school committee which deals with policy. Yeah. But when we're taking a look at the city of Haverhill schools right now, where we are 351 cities and towns, we rank near the bottom as far as spending per pupil, whereas not too long ago we were about in the middle. Right. Now, is that without necessarily looking at throwing money at a particular situation just to make it better? I mean, how do you reconcile test scores, expenditures per pupil, and prioritize that particular issue when you're dealing with situations where you're going to have to renovate or replace the Constantino School?
It's a good question, and there's no easy solutions, and there's no easy answers to that question either. I think the school committee candidates that appeared last week on your show, or on the TV22's debate show, I think they did a very good job of identifying the major issues that challenge us. One of them being the funding, the fact that we need more funding, and we need more family involvement. And we need to figure this out because at the local level, we can't keep subsidizing the school budget to the extent that we have. There's no doubt that it's going to become a greater challenge, which is why we need state and federal government to step up, particularly the federal government. Less money overseas, more money locally. I don't care how they do it, but we need relief at the federal level if we're going to be able to build new schools and get every school up to par with our most recent school, which is the Hunking School. Everyone deserves to be in the Hunking School. Unfortunately, every student can't be in that facility. We do the best we can with the other schools that we have, but there is no doubt in my mind that schools, and new schools, renovated schools, will become a major focal point in the near future.
That'll have to be the last word. Attorney Tom Sullivan, thanks very much for being here.
Thank you for having me,
and wish you the
Frank.
best of luck in the upcoming election.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much, Frank.
We'll be back in just a moment with more. I hope that this program has been a point of reference for you. And until next time, my name is Frank Novak, and thanks very much for watching. And remember to vote on November 7th.